Many thanks to my photographer, Alexi K Photography. Improve your photography life, branding for your business. Visit alexiphotography.com. Shout out to Alexi. What's going on, everybody? Saxophonist Holton here in Holton Labs, inviting you and thank you for joining me today for One-on-One, which is a pre-concert interview for Sax in the City, my annual Mother's Day concert, which features some of the best saxophonists from around the region. Last year, we had a great lineup from coast to coast, and this year we're doing a little more hometown flavor, stepping over to the 585, where we have some great musicians and great friends of mine. Today, we're being joined by the one and only Bakari Smith, a man who's a great friend of mine and also an awesome saxophonist and singer. And man, we're gonna dive into Bakari's life a little bit and what we can expect from him on the show coming up on Friday, May 10th. Tickets are still available. Visit salvatoresexperiences.com. I mean, we have a great night. What a way to celebrate your lady of your life, your mother, your grandmom. Come on out for a 3-course dinner with an appetizer bar pre, 3-course dinner afterwards, all your non-alcoholic beverages included, as well as full concert featuring the guy we're talking about today, Bakari Smith. So, I'm going to bring the man on. We're going to start one-on-one. Here we go. All right. Bakari.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, man. How are you?
Good, very good.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You know, I've known you for quite some time, and you know, you did the Marvin Gaye show not too long ago, and I heard his voice. I mean, I heard you at Midweek Vibe, and I'm like, this dude sings too. He's like the double threat, man. So, you know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I had a lot of
fun, man.
So, a lot of fun at that show.
Yeah, man. So, you know, I like to dig, man, and we go back, man. I remember when you were a wee lass, as they say, you know. Man, this dude, man, listen, I went back and I dug my digging, you know, as an interviewer. I've done interviews before, and you got to know, you know, some information about the artist. So You went to Clarkson University.
Yes, I did.
And so tell me about your experience at Clarkson, and did that help you formulate any of your musical background, or where did you get your start in that? Before we even get to Clarkson, where'd you start at, man?
Start goes, I mean, all the way back. My parents started me on violin when I was about 4 years old, through Hochstein. So I had started doing that very, very young. I come from a family of musicians and singers, so music was always going on around me. And both of my parents played a lot of different music growing up. So my mom played a lot of smooth jazz, a lot of neo soul. My dad played a lot of old school R&B, soul, funk, and listening to all of that, plus growing up in the church. You know, it's just this full world of music all around.
So a plethora of influences, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, man. You know, so me and you, or you and I, we want to be properly speaking here. We definitely have a similar lane. You know, me starting out in the church as well. You know, so when did you first pick up the horn? Like what year? How old were you?
So I first got the horn when I was 10. So I always wanted to play the saxophone. That's what I was drawn to. Kirk Whalen was one of my favorites all time. My mom played all of his albums all the time. And I told my parents I didn't want to play violin anymore. I don't want to play violin. I want to play saxophone.
So
And
did you
I
do
quit.
Suzuki? Did they have you doing like Suzuki strings?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
buddy. Yeah, buddy. That's it right there. That's it.
So, I mean, obviously at that age, I was too young. So, around the age of 9, I picked up clarinet. My school had me start there, and just getting my general understanding of woodwinds, fingering, playing on a reed, all that fun stuff. And then the next year, 10 years old, is when I finally got the saxophone.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
10 years old, man. I started at almost 18. People say, yo, man, you've been playing all your life. I mean, it feels like it, but I remember what got me into playing saxophone. Like, so at the moment you picked up that sax, you said, I'm done with the violin, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to my man, Sir Valor Sax on YouTube, Adrian Spencer. He said this, he said, the saxophone is one of the easiest instruments to get started on, but one of the hardest to become professional at.
Yeah.
And you definitely are professional, man. You are. I know that you reading about your role in the group as one, being the front man, and shout out to Gary Brown and all the crew in that band.
Oh yeah.
It said in the bio, we got one common goal, is to play great music at a high level and have fun doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So talk about As One a little bit.
Yes. So I met I guess the original group of As One started back in the spring of 2018. We were a smaller group, in fact, doing primarily smooth jazz. And myself and David Haygood, who is our bass player, I have known him since I was an early teenager. My mother used to take me to this poetry night that he had at his art studio, and he was partnering with Miss Lou Highsmith,
Oh
and
yeah. Oh yeah.
they had a program called Poetic Rhythms, and they would bring in poets, storytellers, singers, musicians. I mean, any type of art you can think of.
Yeah.
That was around. People really were able to have that safe space and that comfortable space to share their gifts with one another. And so my mom started bringing me there, and that's where I met David, and that's where I met the Highsmith family. And from there, I guess my relationships just continued to flourish throughout my high school career, and then eventually getting to Clarkson, where I ran the jazz ensemble there with a good buddy of mine. His name's Stu Sinikowski. He's a crazy drummer. It's just gone from there. I came home in 2017 after I graduated, and the following spring we started As One, and it continued to grow. We added some more instruments, we added some more singers, and we became somewhat of a, I guess they're called kind of super groups now.
Yeah.
And it's how we've been going ever since.
Yeah, man. I would be remiss not to shout out. I mean, I know I joke around with my dude a lot, but one shout out to Jimmy Highsmith Jr. because he definitely introduced me to Rochester, New York, and introduced me to people like yourself, Carlton Wilcox, Judah Seeley, Art Beatty, Gary Brown, and if it wasn't for Jimmy and Lou and the Highsmith family, like I said, we joke around a lot. But, shout out to Jimmy because he definitely is a person that's provided a platform. And I try to do the same thing here in Buffalo. That's kind of like my thing. And shout out to my boy Carlton Wilcox as well. So, I seen you were on the swim team.
Yes, I
was.
At
Clarkson.
So
I saw that. I saw y'all chanting and in y'all little circle.
Yeah, I swam competitively. My mom had my brother and I swim from literally he was a toddler, and that's when we started swim lessons. And so I started swimming competitively. I had a 10-year competitive swimming career. So I started in 7th grade, right in middle school. Went through middle school, high school, and I also swam. I was captain at Clarkson. So it's It's very helpful for lung capacity. I still try to get to the pool as much as I can. Even still, it keeps you full, I guess, and sharp
Oh
as
yeah.
far as far as blowing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, I was like, this dude is all on it, man. You really all on it. I did my research, man. You know, I've seen you
Good.
play the Star Spangled Banner back in the
Yep.
day at Clarkson. I've
Yep.
seen a lot of different videos of you playing David's Waltz and different videos. And what I want to do right quick, I want to give people an opportunity to hear you play with Jimmy Highsmith Jr. and Wycliffe Gordon. Shout out to Wycliffe, the amazing Wycliffe Gordon, a video
Yeah.
y'all did over at 75 Stutson Street. So y'all check this
Perfect.
out right quick. We'll be right back. Man, listen. I know that's a little trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
But listen, it's all love, man, because you're playing some of my favorite tunes. That was Jeff Lorber's Rain Dance. And
Yes.
man, you kill it, man. I mean, like,
Thank
for
you.
anybody that hasn't heard you play at Marvin Gaye, they got a little taste. Shout out to my girl Patricia Dallas, Trish Dallas on the live. Shout out to you, and shout out to my best friend Tamisha Beckford. I think my brother Daniel Powell's on here. Man, listen, I have some questions for you, man. So when you made the transition from violin to saxophone, when do you believe you were like, you heard that first sound of another saxophonist? Who was that one that kind of made you be like, yo, this is my sound. This is the sound I desire. Who was that person, and when did that happen?
So easily my earliest and most influential saxophone player was Kirk Whalum. Having the smoother, and especially having that gospel influence. As I got older and I began to play in community bands, learning standards, learning big band, and that's when I started to really start leaning more towards, or listening a lot and studying a lot more of Coltrane. And just have, and kind of that same, I guess, altruistic or spiritual aspect behind playing.
Oh yeah.
Because that has a great impact with connecting with other people.
Right.
And then getting, and then of course, like I said, growing up, my dad loves James Brown. Loves James Brown.
Come on, man, you can't get off the
Maceo is a huge
That's the GFOS, man. That's the Godfather of Soul, man. That's Maceo Parker, man. I mean, go ahead, man. Come on, man.
Maceo is also, as far as the tone and execution of notes,
right?
And the articulation, the how compact it is, how together it is, horn lines, all those types of things. And that's what makes it so fun, when, especially like when we did Marvin Gaye, or when I'm at home playing with, Jimmy or Judah or Quinn, and we get together and just kind of just play those lines on the spot, come up with cool things, funky things, smooth things. And
yeah, because I'm not going to lie, man. Like, listen, your vibe, I've never played with you in a section. I'm like, yo, this is somebody I can vibe with, because you're like, you think like a horn player should. You don't you play a heck of a lead, but you also have that background. You're a real chill dude, you're like like intense but tranquil, you know what I'm saying? You're a tranquil spirit, but you got the sound, once you play, horn to face, bro, it's big. It's a big sound. It's full of happiness, full of soul, full of power. So, to be able to be next to you, and I'm like, man, listen, I mean, Chris Big Dog Davis took one of our little horn licks and over my brother Daniel Powell's solo, DP on drums, shout out to DP on drums, and like produced a whole little thing. We were like, and like he put a whole orchestration. You got to check out DP on drums on Instagram. My brother, he put up a nice video that Chris Big Dog Davis did a nice little remix, and awesome. And he landed right back on where we were. It started where we started with that, and so. That being said, we got Kirk Whalum, we got John Coltrane. I like to think of any profession, you gotta have your favorites. Like I love hip hop. If someone says, okay, what's your top 5 hip hop groups? I'm gonna say number 1, shout out to Ali Shaheed Muhammad, which is Tribe Called Quest, Q-Tip, rest in peace, Five Dog. They just got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm gonna say, EPMD. I'm gonna say more old school groups. But being that we're horn players, saxophone, right? Because I dated a horn player, French horn. They say that's not a horn, that's a saxophone. So give me your Mount Rushmore of saxophonists for you. 4 guys or women, because like I said, there's some bad. Candy Dulfer is my gosh, she's amazing.
She's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be smooth jazz. It could be whatever the saxophone says to you. That's what I want to hear that, because I'm gonna give you mine too.
All right. So, I'm still gonna keep Coltrane and Kirk on there. Absolutely.
Did you ever play tenor though? Did you ever play tenor?
Yeah, I actually played tenor throughout high school.
Okay.
More out through high school then, and then I did more alto soprano in college, and I've pretty much stuck alto soprano primarily since then.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I would also add, so onto those two, I also would do, even though I would say he was more of kind of an influence to Kirk, would be Grover Washington. Definitely would be a good influence. Again, same reasons, the soulful, the spiritual.
Yeah.
And then the last one is where I'm gonna get more stuck. Because I would be between Gerald Albright. I would say, okay, I'm stuck because they're kind of in different places. Gerald Albright, because he had the language, again, kind of that same thing I said with Maceo, the language, the articulation, the lines, and he tied them all together just so perfectly.
Right.
And of course, there's no competition when it comes to the altissimo.
Right.
Well.
Go ahead. We're gonna have a debate about that right quick, but go ahead.
The next person, again, for some of the same feel in that category, Kenny Garrett.
Oh yeah.
Definitely have. I feel a lot of that, especially in how raw he plays.
Right.
And then the last would be because of his other musical influences.
Hold
like
on, man.
hip-hop.
Hold on, man. There's only 4 heads on Mount Rushmore.
No.
Do you? Shout out to Uncle Shay Shay, man, because he'd be like, man, the comedians get on there and they name like 10 people. He'd be like, man, you know, there's only 4 heads on Mount Rushmore, man. Come on, what you doing? Anyway, so yeah, man,
But they're all within. They all have the same.
No,
feel.
man, no. You only got 4. It's like if you're on a desert island and they say, okay, you could take. Oh my God, that's another one for you. So anyway, go ahead. Go ahead. I got another one for you.
All right. So if I have to, absolutely.
I want 4 definitive people. 4.
So the last person, which would then have all the same things as both Gerald and Kenny, but also add in some more of the hip hop flair, would be the late Casey Benjamin.
Yeah. I loved Casey on that vocoder, man. I mean, he was crazy, man. Like, woo. So we got Kirk Whalum, we got Grover Washington, we got Kenny Garrett, Coltrane,
and Casey.
Okay, so Gerald Albright, Kirk Whalum, Casey Benjamin, and
Kirk. So you Kirk Whalum,
John Coltrane,
Casey Benjamin, John Coltrane, and Casey Benjamin. Oh, and Grover Washington.
Can't. All right. Well, you know what? All right, that'll be your little +1. Even though that's the granddaddy, that's the founder right there. Shout out to Grover Washington, resting in paradise, man. Because I mean, what an influence. I didn't really get into Grover till way later in my life. You know. So anyway, so here's another question.
Yes.
Desert island. Stuck there, you got all the food you need, you got all the refreshments you need, but you can't come back, and they give you a MP3 playlist. You could take 3 artists, all their catalog. Who you got?
Coltrane. Starting with Coltrane.
It doesn't have to be the same guys, though. It doesn't have to be the same guys. Because I'm telling you, some of these guys got 55 records, and some of these guys got 18 records, and some of these guys got 2 records. So, yeah, but those 2 records, man.
Coltrane, start with Coltrane, number 1.
Coltrane.
Now this one's really hard. Probably go Prince.
Okay. Yeah.
Just for the wealth of the catalog.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll
Um,
work.
and last, I'd still go Kirkwood.
Okay. No, that's
Yep.
great, man. I mean, I stand by mines as well. You know, mines would be, as far as on the island, it would be the entire Michael Brecker catalog and everything he's played on, from
I feel it.
Candy
Yep.
to Original Rays to, you know,
Record Brothers.
oh my, Brecker Brothers, absolutely. I mean, he's a genius.
Yeah.
I would also say, you know, my first person that I got, as far as saxophone goes, introduced to was Kenny G. And
Okay.
my dad bought me my first horn. It was a soprano. It was an Imperial soprano, a $200 soprano that I wish to this day I had it, because that meant a lot to me, because he saw enough in me to buy that. And then my mom helped me get my first professional horn, which was the Yamaha 62.
Nice.
You know, a year later. Yeah. And so Kenny G, I went to see him in concert, and that was right after, you know, I had the revelation I'm gonna play sax. And man, it was something else to see him perform. And Tony Braxton was the owner, and Mint Condition was her band, and that was just crazy. So
Nice.
and Mint Condition had an awesome, you know, sideman, keyboard player, saxophonist that was killing. So it would be the whole entire collection of Michael Brecker. It would be not the collection of Kenny G, but I would do Michael Brecker. I would also do, I think I would do Everett Harp. Everything Everett Harp has ever played on, from John Tesh to everything. He's Brian Bromberg, all the stuff he's played on, all the stuff with Jazz Funk Soul, all his other records he did with Blue Note, anything he did with George Duke. And then far as hip hop, man, I mean, I gotta go. If I was on the island, far as saxophone, it would be Michael Brecker, Everett Harp, and I would do if we're going, you know, contemporary jazz, I would do Najee, and that's not because that's my man, that's my guy, but I think his flute and his earlier tenor was just amazing. And as a person, you know, he's just great, you know. But as far as other artists, 3 other artists on it would be other genres, everything Earth, Wind and Fire, everything Tribe Called Quest, and I would say everything by Biggie.
Gotcha.
And that would be me, man. You know, the Tribe Called Quest, Ali Shaheed Muhammad is one of the baddest producers of all time, man. And, you know, but anyway, back to you. It's not about me. So, you know, what should a person look forward to? Oh man, I lost you. Hold on a minute. So what should a person look forward to when they come to the concert on this coming up, this Mother's Day start of the weekend, you know, May 10th. The weather should be better. You know, what should they look forward to other than the great food and the great atmosphere? Which I'm telling you, you haven't even seen that room. Like, you've seen it, but you ain't seen it in action.
Right.
That room is gonna be crazy. What should they be looking forward to?
Cool. So, as far as my end, I always like to give people something they might not know or probably don't know, while also giving them something that is familiar, um, in a range of emotions, of energy. So a lot of times I do like to uh, play something very upbeat, funky. Probably won't know it, and that's the reason why is because I want people to be exposed to different artists, to different music. That's all still good music, right?
Right.
Things that speak to me and that influence, how I interpret music and how I interpret the saxophone and what
Mm-hmm.
the saxophone can do. And then as well as hearing something that you can also sing to, that you also know and that you've heard, something that still gives you that smooth feeling as well,
Right.
and just making the saxophone sing, per se.
And I'm telling you, if y'all haven't heard this dude play, when you hear him, you're gonna be blown away. Bakari is simply just soulful, smooth. Everything is connecting. Very sensitive to the audience, absolutely. And plays with so much passion. He closes those eyes, man, and goes for it, man. I love hearing you play, man. I'm not really that big on alto, but you want to talk about somebody? We're gonna go back to that altissimo comment that you talked about, because I ain't forgot, my man. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. You forgot about the great granddaddy on the blue side of soul, Mr. David Sanborn.
Absolutely.
That dude, his tone, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not an alto fan like that, but I like hearing you. I like hearing Judah. I love hearing Gerald. Najee on his early records, if you ever hear him on alto, Everett Harp, David Sanborn, in the traditional side of things, Greg Osby, Jaleel Shaw, Phil Woods, like people like, because Phil Woods is like the next level of David Sanborn. Like, he emulated, Phil Woods. Phil Woods did that solo on Billy Joel's Just the Way You Are. And so anyhow, So shout out to the granddaddy, but man, at Grover, there's a video of him playing Chivalry Ride at the Newport Jazz Festival. Man, you better check that thing out. I mean, he really goes. And there's another video of him playing the song he wrote for Mr. J, Let It Flow, Dr. J, Let It Flow, at like 1996 in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
He had Tom Barney on bass. And let me tell you, I mean, Grover just went, man. I mean, he went, oh my gosh. So, but Gerald Albright, another one, man, just like, these guys, I believe, are like the musician's musician, man. Like, they can play any of those horns and make them sing. And just like you, man, like I said, I haven't heard you on tenor, but I can only imagine it's just about getting a mouthpiece that works and a reed setup that works for you, man. And you got the fingers, you got the feel, you got the ear, you got the touch, and you can read music and you can sing. So to me, I'm gonna be like, hey man, I got a couple mouthpieces you try out, man. Man, I want to hear it, man.
Cool.
But so Friday, May 10th, y'all, we have Sax in the City. We got the one and only Bakari Smith coming up from Rochester, New York, right over the way, 585, my second home. We're gonna make Buffalo his second home, for real. We're trying to get him up here as often as we can, because I mean, he has a really good voice, man. And you gotta let the voices be heard. And I love being able to provide a platform. And I love as one when I hear Gary Brown play that guitar, man. What a nice guy as well. Gary is he's such a chill dude, man, but he can play the heck out of that guitar, man. So we look forward, man, to you come on it up, and we got a bunch of people, man, that have chimed in. Like I said, shout out to Tamisha Beckford, my best friend, and other friends that are chimed in. Question Bakari.
Yes.
It says is Bakari a career professional musician?
So I went to Clarkson for electrical engineering. My degree is electrical engineering with a concentration in power engineering. So I'm an electrical power engineer. So I work for my 9 to 5, my day to day. I work as a senior protection and control engineer for our utility here, which is RD&E, Rochester Gas and Electric. So I
Awesome.
work. Yep, I do work for our utility, our local utility, Rochester Gas and Electric. I also do work for New York State Electric and Gas, which is covering most of central New York. And then I dabble in some stuff in New England as well. But
Hey
that's my
man,
day to day.
I only got one question, man. Loan me
Yes, sir.
$5, man. I know you got it, man. I know you got it, man. Loan me $5, brother. Come on, man. Listen, you talking about engineer, doc. I'm like, hey, man, listen. Man, listen, I'm trying to listen, man. That's what it's all about, man. Being able to enjoy what you love and also, you know, period, man. Be able to live your life the way you want to live it. Enjoy life. Be able to take trips and enjoy yourself, man. The music can provide that. A career can provide that. And, you know, regardless of the fact, when you play, you are basically being, like, I consider a doctor. So somebody who had a very bad day, it could be a husband and wife. They come to our shows. They may have bickered in the car. They're leaving holding hands. They're leaving a kiss on the cheek or on the lips. You know, they're sitting there holding hands because they just got done bickering at home, or they had a rough day at work. And we're able to transform people's days, man, and make them happy, man. So it's a beautiful thing, man. One more time, I want to shout out to my guy, Alexi Photography, for the photos you're going to see as we fade off for tonight. Tomorrow, y'all, shout out to Bakari one more time. Bakari, peace, my brother. All right, y'all, follow him. What's your social media, man? What's your social media?
Yes, so I'm primarily, honestly, I mostly just do Facebook. That's where it's easiest for me as far as getting in contact with me, and then also with family. So just find me, write my name, Bakari Smith. You'll see a picture. It's a wedding picture of myself and my wife, who is also an amazing singer.
Shout out to Chelsea.
And Chelsea Chambers.
Yes.
So, yeah, you can find me there.
Bakari Smith, y'all. We will we'll see you on Friday, May 10th, brother. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank you. You too.
Peace. Hey, y'all. So thank you for hanging out with me here in the Holton Labs here at the studio. Friday, May 10th. Don't wait to get your tickets, because unfortunately we will not be doing day of tickets, because we want to make it an enjoyable concert experience for everyone and the servers as well. Go on salvatorsexperiences.com and select your food. 10-ounce prime, chicken Florentine. We're going to have between 6:30 and 7:30 an appetizer spread for you that's crazy. And then dinner at 7:30, concert at 8. You can't beat it. $99. And we're celebrating our mothers, y'all. So visit salvatorsexperiences.com. I'm going to drop it back up on the screen here. And tomorrow, I want y'all to tune in tomorrow. I have the awesome Ellen Peroni. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock, y'all. Ellen Peroni is going to join me on here, and she is phenomenal as well. I appreciate y'all so much. It's your boy, Will Holton, one-on-one, coming to you. Here we go. Peace. Once again, y'all, photography is by Alexi K Photography. Visit alexiphotography.com. My guy.